Wealth isn't what you think it is. It isn't the car. It isn't the house. It isn't the Rolex wrapped around a trembling wrist of someone afraid to lose everything. Wealth is not paper. It's not digits on a screen. It's not fame. And it's certainly not luck. Wealth is responsibility. It is precision. It is the result of becoming someone that reality cannot ignore. And yet, most people will never touch it. Not because they aren't capable, but because they're too busy chasing illusions. They want the crown, but they refuse to carry the weight. They crave the glow, but run from the fire that forges the man. But here's the truth. The one no one wants to hear. Wealth begins in the dark, before the applause, before the bank account, before anyone believes in you, including yourself. It starts in silence, when no one sees you grinding, when the world calls you foolish, when your bank balance mocks your ambition. And if you can survive that, if you can outlast the silence, then maybe, just maybe, you're worthy of the noise. See, the wealthy, truly wealthy, are not accidental creatures. They are built, not born. Built by battle, by rejection, by years of invisible work that the comfortable will never understand. Because real wealth demands one thing above all, a transformation of identity. You do not get rich. You become the kind of person wealth cannot resist. You must start with the mind. Everything external is a reflection of what lives within. Poverty is not merely a condition of your wallet. It is a condition of your thinking, a cycle inherited, repeated, protected, even romanticized. Somewhere along the line, society convinced you that struggle is noble, that wealth is greed, that ambition is selfish. But look closer. The people who changed the world, Lincoln, Carnegie, Edison, Jobs, they were all driven not by money, but by clarity. They saw what others could not, and they refused to unsee it. You want wealth? Then you must first break the mental chains that tie you to mediocrity. You must rewire the beliefs etched into your bones, beliefs handed to you by parents who meant well but played small, teachers who gave up, friends who feared your rise, and a culture that trades potential for pleasure. You must kill the comfort you were raised in, because comfort is the enemy of greatness. It is a slow death disguised as safety, and most people will choose it. Most people would rather sink quietly than swim against the tide of public opinion. But you, if you are listening to this, you were not born for quiet drowning. You were born to rise, to rebel against every excuse that has ever lived inside you. After the mindset comes clarity, the kind so sharp it cuts through every distraction. Clarity is what allows the ultra-successful to say no to 99 out of 100 things. It's what lets them rise early, when no one else is watching. What helps them endure a decade of thankless work for a single moment of victory. Most people are busy. The wealthy are focused. Most people chase more. The wealthy chase depth. You must know what you want. Not vaguely, not someday, not, I just want to be rich. No. That's how dreamers die broke. You must define it with surgical precision. What does wealth mean to you? What does it look like, feel like, sound like? What are you willing to suffer for? Write it down. Burn it into your vision, because without clarity, you will drown in opportunities disguised as distractions. Once clarity sharpens your path, vision becomes your fuel. But vision is not hope. Hope is weak. Hope waits for a sign. Vision creates one. Walt Disney was fired for a lack of imagination. Henry Ford was told horses were the future. Edison failed over 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. But they saw something no one else could. Not because they were special, but because they believed before proof arrived. Can you do the same? Can you keep building when there's no applause? Can you stay loyal to a dream when your bank account accuses you of delusion? That's what vision demands. It is not a mood, it is a vow, and with vision comes purpose. Without purpose, discipline dies young. Purpose is what gets you out of bed at 4:00 a.m., even when you were up until midnight the night before. It's what makes sacrifice feel like honor, not punishment. And your purpose cannot be money. Money is a byproduct, a receipt, not a reason. Your purpose must be deeper. It must live in your bones. Maybe you want to break a generational curse. Maybe you want your last name to mean something 100 years from now. Maybe you just want to prove, if only to yourself, that you were not a mistake. Whatever it is, find it, sharpen it, bleed for it. Because the ultra-successful don't need alarms to wake up. Their mission drags them from bed. While others sleep, they are sculpting destiny with calloused hands and burning eyes. And then comes discipline, the bridge between dream and reality. This is where most fail, not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked consistency. Discipline isn't about motivation. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is spiritual. It's what keeps you grinding when no one is clapping, when the results are invisible, when progress is slow and praise is absent. Discipline turns men into legends. It is what built Tesla's empire. What kept Jordan on the court after practice? What made Kobe show up at 4:00 a.m. while the world slept? Discipline is the difference between a man who wants wealth and a man who earns it. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses. And the most dangerous excuse of all, I'm doing my best. No, do what is required, not what is comfortable, not what is convenient, what is required. Then comes action, not random, scattered effort, but aligned, deliberate, uncomfortable action. Because you cannot manifest wealth while living like the average. You must do the things others avoid, make the calls, take the risk, build the skill, be the beginner, look stupid, fail fast, learn faster. There is no secret, only steps repeated, perfected, hardened by time. The man who takes imperfect action will always defeat the man who waits for the perfect moment. Because the moment will never come. Gratitude is not weakness. It is the glue that holds your power together. Without gratitude, success turns to entitlement, and entitlement is the first step toward destruction. The ultra-successful remember where they came from. They keep their hunger alive by respecting the climb. Gratitude keeps you humble when you rise, and hopeful when you fall. It is the silent prayer whispered between failures. The fire that says, I may not be there yet, but I am not who I was. Gratitude is discipline for the soul, and you will need it because the road ahead is brutal. Adaptability is the currency of the future. Markets change, economies collapse, algorithms evolve, and if you are rigid, you break. The wealthy do not fall in love with one method. They fall in love with outcomes. They pivot. They evolve. They survive the winter because they do not cling to the leaves of autumn. You must become a student of change, a master of reinvention, because those who cling to old ways will starve in a new world. Resilience is the heartbeat of the wealthy, not talent, not luck, not even timing, but resilience, the ability to be broken and still stand up, the strength to fail in public, be laughed at, humiliated, dismissed, and still come back louder. Because you will be rejected, you will be ignored, you will be betrayed. But resilience is the art of staying the course even when the map is burned, the compass is cracked, and the destination feels like a lie. Ask Abraham Lincoln, who lost more elections than he won before becoming one of history's greatest presidents. Ask Oprah, who was told she was unfit for television. Ask Howard Schultz, who was turned down 42 times before anyone backed Starbucks. The common thread, they didn't quit, they didn't crumble, they didn't make pain their identity. They used it. The average person gets hit once and stays down for life. The wealthy, real wealth, takes hit after hit and uses every blow as fuel. Because wealth isn't about how high you can climb. It's about how low you can fall and still choose to rise. And what allows that rise? Learning, lifelong, relentless, uncomfortable learning. The wealthy don't read to impress, they read to evolve. They don't ask questions to look smart, they ask to shatter their ignorance. Every conversation is a classroom. Every mistake is a textbook. Every failure is a masterclass, and they devour it all. Carnegie, the steel tycoon, said his greatest fortune came not from steel, but from assembling a mastermind of minds smarter than his own. He learned from those he hired. The moment you think you know enough is the moment you start dying. Ego is the anchor that keeps the average stuck. Curiosity is the engine that propels the successful forward. If you aren't learning, you're losing, because someone, somewhere, is studying harder, reading longer, experimenting deeper, and they will pass you. Not because they're better, but because they're willing. Willing to start again. Willing to be wrong. Willing to let go of what they think they know in order to grasp what actually works. This is why you cannot cling to what is comfortable. Comfort coddles the mind. Struggle sharpens it. You want real wealth, then sharpen yourself until the world has no choice but to pay you. And now we arrive at the final truth, the one that cracks everything wide open. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. If you want $1 million, don't ask how to make it. Ask what kind of man can hold it without losing himself. Ask what kind of character can multiply it, protect it, use it for good. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a character problem, a focus problem, a commitment problem. They want wealth to heal their insecurity, to silence their critics, to prove something. But that kind of wealth destroys the soul, because no amount of money can fix what is broken inside of you. You fix that first. You become a person who operates from abundance before the money ever arrives. You lead with integrity when no one's watching. You honor your word when it costs you. You give when it hurts. You build when you're tired. You serve when it's thankless. You show up when it's raining, when it's cold, when the world says you're crazy. Because that is what wealth respects. That is what wealth recognizes. You want the crown, then bleed for it. You want the throne, then become the kind of king or queen who deserves it. The truth is, wealth doesn't come to the loudest. It comes to the most aligned in mind, aligned in action, aligned in purpose. The world is not waiting for another get-rich-quick scheme. It is waiting for a leader, a creator, a builder, someone who doesn't just take, but transforms everything they touch. Someone like you, if you are willing to pay the price. And yes, there is always a price. The truth about wealth that no one wants to hear is this: it demands more of you than you think you have. And then it shows you who you really are, not with comfort, not with ease, but with fire. And only those who walk through that fire without flinching, without begging for shortcuts, without betraying themselves for applause only, they will taste what wealth really is. Not the car, not the watch, not the praise, but the freedom to wake up, walk your own path, and answer to no one but the truth. That is the real reward. And now the question is yours: will you chase illusions, or will you become undeniable? Because wealth doesn't follow dreams. It follows discipline. It follows character. It follows those who are willing to sacrifice comfort for legacy. And if you are one of the few, the rare, the bold enough to burn your excuses and rise from your ashes, then you will know what most never will: that wealth was never the goal. It was the evidence that you became the person you were always meant to be.